that I am. And I am that I am Andrew Patrick Timothy Michael Craig. And I have a magical name, and I came to write a magical book. And it's been my deepest honor and pleasure to work with Authors Tranquility Press to bring that book into existence for other people to be able to be moved by it. It's a beautiful book. It may be the rarest book on the planet right now. I have studied higher spiritualism for 30 years or so now. I've studied most specifically for the last 20 years with the Council-of-Eight. The Council-of-Eight is a group of rescue immortals that come to rescue human beings that get stuck, species of human beings that get stuck. And the Earth, back in 1945, when we dropped atomic bombs on Japan, the sun took offense to that, and so the sun was going to exterminate everything 1,000 miles deep on the planet, because the sun does not tolerate the use of sun materials to kill people. Okay, the sun is billions of years old. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. And we are no more than a gnat. Human beings are just no more than a gnat compared to the relationship that Source has with the planet and the solar being and the whole universe. I mean, these beings have had continuous relationships with Source for billions of years. And that will not, and a human being will not be allowed to destroy that relationship by killing the Earth potentially with our weapons. Dimensions of consciousness are defined by their organizing principles. And so the organizing principles of the third dimension of consciousness are sex, money, and power. Organizing principle of the fourth dimension of consciousness are sex, money, and power, and awakened awareness. Awakened awareness allows you to go to higher dimensions of consciousness. But if you do not awaken and become aware of your immortality, you cannot go and be immortal. The fifth dimension of consciousness, the organizing principles are love, peace, harmony, tranquility, and unity. In the fifth dimension of consciousness, this species of human beings from this planet is a single organism. Thinks with one mind, speaks with one voice, okay? But it's constituted from all the individual beings that ascend with it. And those beings can detach, travel anywhere in the universe, and be consciously connected to the single organism at the same time. And the single organism can then download that into to every other constituent member of the organism. And so then unity is having the same experience. It's not me telling you a story, it's actually having the same experience that I have. Now you can still independently have your own opinion about it or what have you, but at the fifth dimension of consciousness, that unifying experience, unity of being a single organism, is profoundly powerful. And so to ascend into that, we have no physical bodies in the fifth dimension of consciousness, but we can create them if we choose or if we need them. Well, it's a doorway. I mean, the book itself has many different doorways to ascended consciousness. So, I mean, I hope that they can take away the best that they're able to take away from it. It's not a required reading. It's not a required anything. If you're not attracted to it, pay no attention to it. Yeah, it's just if you need to be attracted to it, you need to. It will find its way to you if it will help you with what you want to do in life. If you are here fighting your way towards higher dimensions of consciousness, and it's not an easy path. If you're here fighting your way towards higher dimensions of consciousness, the book will find its way to you. Well, to begin with, I have readings with the higher order beings. I have my guide and guardian is a being referred to as Shugala. He's never been in physical form. He's the head of the Council of Eight. And the first reading I had after I published the book, he told me that I had created a new planet. I created a new species, and he defined the universe that we live in as having 12 dimensions of consciousness. Now, my whole life, when I've ever inquired into dimensions of consciousness, there's never been more than 11 mentioned. And so the 12th dimension of consciousness has something to do with the new planet and the new species of human beings that's created in the book. And he says I created a planet and a species. And when you read the book, it will be perfectly evident that that's so. So I mean, it affects everybody whether you read the book or not, because there's 12 dimensions of consciousness. So there's a third dimension of consciousness and or a third and fourth dimension of consciousness with monkey-based human beings, and there's a third and fourth, well, there's no third and fourth, there's a fifth dimension of consciousness with penguin-based human beings. There's a fifth dimension of consciousness with monkey-based human beings. I chose the penguins as the preferred precursor being that human beings would come out of, because the penguins have colony mind. And so the penguins always are thinking about any one penguin that could die. And they rally around any one penguin that could die. They don't want any of the pod to die, because the whole pod may be perished if a single one of them dies. And human beings are almost the exact opposite, coming out of monkeys. They don't give a darn about hardly anybody except themselves. Well, I almost feel like it's a elementary school primer. You know, I mean, it seems like a very highly sophisticated book if you haven't been studying it, but when I read it now, I think, you know, this would be good for like a 5th grader or a 6th grader, you know? I mean, certainly if you can master algebra and calculus and trigonometry and physics and things like that in high school, you can master this, you know? And the sooner you master it, the greater likelihood there is that you'll ascend into immortality this lifetime. So all the religions that have been taught to the earth, okay, were taught to the earth to help the human beings live better lives, okay? But if you speak into third dimensional listening, you can tell them the secrets of the universe, but all they'll produce out of it is third dimensional structures. So what they produced was they produced sex, money, and power out of the religions. They produced the most powerful and wealthy organizations in the world. and they're in your sex all the time, you know? Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, you know? And it's, but it's just, you can only get so much. You can't force a being to experience more than they're capable of experiencing. It's not that they did something wrong, they just did what they do in the third dimension of consciousness. But we're up on the edge now, because when the 1945, this solar being, our father, mother, son, was going to exterminate every living thing on the planet 1,000 miles deep, because we used atomic weapons against the Japanese. And now we have, because the solar being knows that if whenever a species engages in that type of activity, it only gets worse. So now we have thermonuclear weapons that are so much more powerful than those atomic bombs as to be ridiculous. And if you drop a couple of them on a fissure that's unknown and is in the crust of the Earth, you could split the Earth and have it come completely apart and just blow up the whole solar system. Well, the sun's in charge. The sun's the mother, father. The planets came out of the equator of the sun, and that was the mother function of the sun. The father function is protection and provision. So the sun provides heat, it provides light, it provides all sorts of gravitational things. It's the organizing principle of the whole solar system. It keeps everybody in their place and everything moving smoothly. But if one planet goes haywire, the whole solar system could fall apart. And so the sun doesn't want to take that risk. So it would be a great sadness to the father to have to exterminate all these living things that are upon this little planet that's in the sweet spot of the solar system. But the primary function is to protect the solar system first. So, and that's our bad for violating. But if we were penguins, we wouldn't have done it, okay? Well, it was suggested to me, Shugla was just talking to me about certain things. And he's never been in physical form, but he speaks through a channel. A channel sets her personality aside and then allows the spiritual being to use their body to speak. And he has a male presence even though the channel is female. Okay, so it's different than when a female speaks through her, there's a whole different energy, even though it's the same voice box, okay? So anyhow, he just casually threw it out there, said maybe you might want to write. There was no reason for him to say that to me. It wasn't like maybe you might want to write about this, or maybe you might want to write about anything else. He just, and I just took that piece of information as maybe you might want to write. So I spent a little while. It took me about a year to write, 6 months to a year to write the first version of this. And then he said, don't worry about sales. He said that as long as the book got a Library of Congress number, that it would be in human consciousness. And so don't worry about sales, get it into the consciousness, everything will work out. So people don't even need to read the book in a way, but I feel like, and so then Authors Tranquility Press, Maria White at Authors Tranquility Press contacted me a year or so after it had been sitting dormant because I was not worried about sales, and she was so enthusiastic about sales that I decided to go the extra mile. And I think it's helped refine the book. This is a more refined book than the first version of it that I wrote, and it will add velocity to, 12th dimension, a new Earth, a new species of human beings. I mean, come on. It's different than the first one, right? Well, at the end of the book here, I have given the planet, I have taken the fifth dimensional penguins that I have taken all around the universe, including onto the fields of all possibility and potentiality, to talk directly with Source, okay? And then from there, we kind of get blessed with what we're doing, and then I take them to 300,000 years in the past, to when the first human being, there's a skeleton referred to as Joan, which has been defined previously as the first human being in the monkey human lineage. And I take these fifth dimensional penguin human beings and I drop them off 300,000 years before now. And so in the book, well, and I just don't tell them anything. I don't say you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, you're supposed to do anything. I just drop them off and leave them there. And they just figure out that they have free reign to do whatever they want. Well, naturally, they're fifth dimensional beings. They surround the earth in a shield of fifth dimensional energies, and they don't let any lower vibrational frequencies come upon her surface from 300,000 years ago. That's why I've created a new planet, because this is a planet that doesn't allow third dimensional or fourth dimensional beings upon it. The planet we're on right now, our Mother Earth gently agreed to Source. When Source asked her if she would allow lower vibrational frequencies on her planet, she agreed to do that. Now, the problem with that is none of the other planets in the universe agreed to that. And so all of the lower vibrational frequency human beings are on this planet. And the masters of the Far East, Count Saint Germain and Master Jesus and what have you, they have referred to this planet as the insane asylum and prison planet of the universe. But it's not because that was a flaw, it's just that it's not like this is a prison planet that people got assigned to. It's that Mother Earth agreed to take lower vibrational frequencies. So to cure that, I created a species that thinks with a colony mind, species of human beings, and I stick them back there 300,000 years in the past, and it alters everything, creates a new dimension. In addition to creating a new planet and a new species of human beings, it creates a new dimension. Percolating in me, and so I have every day, every night, I have dreams, I have visions, I have all sorts of thoughts on the subject. And you know, as long as I feel like it can be a service to the species, to all of us, then I'm going to write about it. Well, at the Conrad Hilton, it's been impeccable. The food's just tremendous. The people are so, they're just so gentle, and they don't, it's not an American experience to me.
You can really feel the difference between
Oh yeah, very much so. There's a
Filipinos.
kindness that radiates from everybody all around. It just kind of funny to me. I feel like I wonder what they think of me. They might think I'm a little too crass or bold or something, but I think writing a book like that, and it got a 98 on the rating for a metaphysical book, meta meaning above, and so above physical, and a 98. I mean, have you ever taken a test where you got a 98 out of 100 when you didn't even know what you were doing was a test, and you hadn't studied any material for the test, and you get a 98 on it? You know, who does that? You know, that's pretty amazing, really. So I think it's going to be a very wonderful gift for people, any and all, and it's been quite a great gift for me to be recruited by Maria White and Authors Tranquility Press and allowed to publicize this further. This version of the book is an improvement over the first one. It's an addition to, because the first one's more like a workbook. This is more like an art form, and so the next one will be probably more metaphysical than this. Okay, so let me give you one more thing. So
Sure.
When I was originally born, I was named John Lonigan Craig. I ran out in front of a car when I was 5 years and 9 months old. I got crushed under the right front wheel. I got crushed so badly, my skull was crushed, my ribs were crushed, my heart was crushed. I mean, I got crushed under the right front wheel. We're not talking about silly little cars you got today. We're talking about cars that weighed as much as a small tank back in 1956, okay? They were made out of steel, and they were big, heavy, clunky things, And I was a little 50-pound boy or something like that. I don't know, maybe not that much. But anyhow, I got killed so badly they had to take my energetic bodies out of, they took my energetic bodies, which are on the outside of your physical body. In the case of the teachings of the Council of Eight, they involve your soul body, your spiritual body, mental body, emotional body, and vibrational body. And astral body also. And they attach to the outside of the body at the quickening. Boom. So when you take that first breath, they attach to the outside of your body, okay? All except for one, the soul. The soul's immortal. At the big bang, when Source created the universe, one of the most significant thing that Source sent out into the universe were pieces of Source. Boom! And those pieces of Source are our souls. Our souls are immortal. So our soul does not want to touch anything that's mortal. It doesn't want to touch anything that radiates limitation like our body does. So our souls are as old as the universe. And it attaches to the third eye, but first the spiritual body attaches to the third eye and the physical body, and then the soul body attaches to the spiritual body attached to because the soul body doesn't want to touch anything that's mortal. And so it's just that one concept, makes you reflect upon and reconsider a whole bunch of established thoughts. Why would Source create a universe with a godzillion amounts of change things going on all the time and have a soul only be designed to live one life? I mean, reincarnation is just a natural expression of immortality. It's no use to have immortality if you only get one life. How can you learn? So, we learn, we're all here learning different lessons all the time. So we just keep cranking the machine, and the preference is that we learn everything we need to learn this life, but we know we're going to have another one that we may have to learn things that we hadn't even thought about yet. We may change ethnicity, may change sex, we might be, and just all different kinds of preferences, okay? So that we have at the end of it, because God, Source, loves us all. So why don't we love each other?
True.
Everybody thinks that they're tight with God, but they're not tight with their neighbor, but God's right there on every single body that you see. And not only that, squirrels, dogs, any sentient being, the earth and the sun are sentient beings. So they have their own God power in them too, attachment, So any sentient being, like I'm saying, squirrels, dogs, whatever. And so it's just implausible that Source would send you out on this unbelievable universe and then draw you back to him after one iteration. What's the point of having short lives if you're only going to be out there one time. Why wouldn't we have a 2 million year life if we're only going to be out there one time, you know? Anyhow. So I lived that second life, but he changed my name to Andrew Patrick Timothy Michael Craig. All of those are master numbers, 11, 33, 11, 33, 11. That's a 99. Master number 11 is an initiator, master initiator. 33 is a master teacher. 22 is a master builder. 99 is compassionate consciousness. It's a wisdom number. 9 is a wisdom number. All these things. And I have a 99 in my consonants and a 22 in my consonants. My birthday is September 18th, 1950. It's a 33-6, okay? So it's got the 9s in it. I got 4 of my 5 core numbers are 9s, which is wisdom, and the other one is 6, which is family and community. Is there any better evidence of, so in family, in whatever your life path is, it's the arena in which you will have the most difficulty, have to overcome the obstacles of your life, and the most difficult obstacles is mine were in family and community. Is there any greater evidence than having yourself run out in front of a car and get crushed to death and killed the second time because they distracted the driver, and so I got to run an extra 2 or 3 steps out in front of the car, and the bumper caught me square in the mouth, knocked my teeth out back to my molars, slammed me down on the ground, gave me cerebral hemorrhaging, and killed me. I'm still killed, but at least I'm not crushed into just masses of muck. And these 2 arms reach out of the sky, female arms, but strong and beautiful, and wrap their hands around my head and bathe me in intense white light, and that heals the hemorrhaging, and I come back to life. So I was killed twice. When I've said that to people in the past, you say, "Oh, you mean a near-death thing?" No, I'm talking dead, okay? And so those hands brought me back to life. The next time I saw those arms and those hands, I took my dad, who had been very harsh on me, to the highest place in the afterlife to which he would be entitled by any single thing he did in his life. And I went into inner space and I banished the demons. I looked like an archangel. I crossed my arms, boom! White light, I banished the demons away from us, and I went up on this Irish hill, slipped my arms under the form of his body, and I went down into the blackness, and I flew forever, and then came to some clouds and took him up the wall of clouds until they illuminated white light. And then those same 2 arms from when I was 5 years and 9 months old reach out, and I place my dad's body in those arms' hand, and they go back into the clouds, and the light goes off, and then I come back out. My mom's sitting next to me when I'm in ceremony doing this, and I just tell her, you know, she had Alzheimer's, but I took care of her for 16 years, and this is a very sweet thing. It's been a very sweet journey. There's a lot of drama in it, I guess you would say, but it's been a great gift to have lived it, and to be poised on to be doing what I'm doing with you guys now is wonderful. Thank you so much.